Well, greetings. Here we are in the C-Suite Network Women's Corporate Coaching and Consulting Roundtable. So excited and really timely topic today about future-proofing your career and your business. And this is not only for us, we're going to engage in a really exciting and vibrant conversation with all of our thought leaders in our council. And I think this topic has, for me, it has multiple applications not only for us in our business, but also for our clients, how we can help our clients future proof their businesses, their careers, their lives. So, thank you so much for taking the time to be here watching the replay. And we're so excited about. We're optimistic about the future. And I would say, if you would take a peek outside of our council and sometimes outside of our circle of influence, the world is not right now such a great optimistic place. And so each of you, you're a lighthouse of positivity, optimism, solutions. And I'm Kathleen Caldwell, so grateful to be the founder of our council. I'm an author, speaker, longtime coach since 1998, and I love all things coaching and consulting and ballroom dancing with my beloved husband, Michael. So I just wanted to set just a quick context, and we're going to get into our group conversation here in a moment. But this morning, I literally just did another search on LinkedIn. And as of this morning, just doing a general search for people, coaches and consultants, there are now up to 6.5 and counting people who are identifying in their title, in their headline, in their job description, quote unquote, as a coach or consultant. And so the whole theme for today is how are we going to stand out in this sea of people? And I love coaches and consultants, so I say all the more the merrier. But the reality is, and pulling up some statistics and context for us to delve into, is according to Delivering Happiness, Tony Hsieh's wonderful company, God rest his soul, bless him, is that 96% of businesses who make their first sale today, our colleagues, we in our council, we're well beyond our first sale. We're seasoned coaches and consultants, but people who are entering the market right now and making their first sale, they're going to shut their doors with less than 9 years in business because they don't have the experience. They don't have the systems in place. They don't have the knowledge that it's just not about being just a great coach consultant. Those are the table stakes. We've got to be able to see what's happening in the future, adapt, and lead. So these are important statistics because future proofing is our topic today. And our ability, I'd like to kind of turn this on its head, our ability to forecast and acclimate in a shifting business environment is why this topic is so very, very important. And with 2024 in the United States, we've got a big election happening. And so we've got economic pressures, we've got supply chain pressures. And as you can see, future proofing, we don't have to be clairvoyant, sisters, but we do have to be informed and have to be out there and be visible. So our topic today is really all about the strategies and tactics. I see 5 different trends that are happening and I want to get your point of view, of course, on what are the trends you're seeing that we need to be aware of and ahead of and speaking about in our thought leadership. So this concept about future proofing, it's anticipating the future and minimizing the effects and the shocks and the stresses of future events. And isn't that really what our clients are looking to us for, is to give them guidance and counsel and support and mentorship to help them kind of see around corners so that they're not surprised by things. And as we coach in their companies and their organizations, our ability to do this, because sisters, it's a skill. We are learning this and we do it. It's a skill that's so critical now more than ever before. Okay. And of course, one other point that I want to bring up is talking about inflection points and the moment when something significant occurs. It's a brilliant topic that we'll talk about in future Women's Coaching and Consulting Council meetings and gatherings, is what are those inflection points that we can be looking out for that are really the turning points for us personally, professionally, and for our clients. These are kind of like flashpoints that are so, so important. Okay. So I'm seeing some top trends. I'm going to quickly go through these and I want to get your point of view. Maybe what we'll do is, I want to bring up each of the points and then let's discuss what are you seeing? What's your point of view? What do you think is going to be the impact for you in your business around these top trends? And of course, what are the trends you're seeing? Because trends are not only global, they're national, regional, and local as well. So what's happening for you on the West Coast of the US could be different than what's happening for us in the heartland. And then, of course, in the East Coast and in Europe and around the world. Okay. So one of the trends that I'm seeing, and I've been doing a lot of research about this because I'm very, very interested in this. And by the way, look out in the month of January for our council members. We're going to be doing a thought leadership piece that C-Suite Network will be promoting for us, where you can bring up and write about your thought leadership about each of these trends. So you'll be able to get your thought leadership out there. We as a council, we're going to together promote each other. It's going to be a great project for you in this new year. And that's my gift from me to each of you to really jumpstart our new year. Very excited about that. More to come. But one of the trends I'm seeing is about this great uncertainty. And if you just looked literally yesterday, the big consulting companies, McKinsey, et cetera, they are doing major, major layoffs. So what are these very smart, incredible people are going to be doing? Many of them will have the lure of starting their own companies, going into partnership with others. So we're going to see in 24 another big emergence of more coaches and consultants in the marketplace, which again, I think it's great because it's bringing more people into the conversation about coaching, raising the awareness. And of course, the impact of AI is huge. I just read an article yesterday that talked that auditors, accountants, public relations specialists are going to be the most vulnerable with AI emergence. So this is the first trend that I'm seeing is the great uncertainty, that people are uncertain about what's going to be happening. And so if they're going to make a shift in their career, they're going to do it early in the year or they're going to stay put. So love to pause here for just a moment and get your point of view. What are you seeing about this great uncertainty? What are you hearing from your clients? And what is it that you know about the great uncertainty? And are you inspired to be, thought leader in this area? Of course. Yep. Sonia, please.
I have a nephew who was here this last week, and he attended West Point. He did the time in the military. He got accepted into MIT. He's an engineer by training. So he's probably in the top 10% of, the kind of people you'd want to employ. And we were talking about, because he's graduating in 2024, and we were talking about what the trends were that they were seeing. And he said that basically anybody who received an offer from McKinsey or any of the consulting companies for 2023, it has been postponed to 2025.
Wow.
And therefore they're expecting. So he said, that's an avenue that's not available. And all I kept thinking is, in my career, whenever, people were going in that direction, that's a lot of your top performers. So there's going to be a whole slew of people with that. I put him in the high potential category, a whole slew of individuals like him that will be available to the marketplace. And so in my opinion, it would be about working with some clients about understanding how to use somebody like that effectively. Because, he has skills in, the things that he got to do, which he was very strategic about what he chose to do when he was in the military. He's got logistics training. Right now, he's on I guess what I'll say, like an apprentice kind of thing down at Amazon in Florida. And so people like him will have, I think, some pick of the litter kind of stuff. But it's because what is he looking for now? He's looking for something that's going to be there and alive in the next 5 to 10 years. So I think of it in terms of like talent pool is going to be
Yes.
shifting, and it's a question of where it is that it can reside.
Sonia, thank you for bringing up that real world example because, the ripple effect of this and hiring impacts and, the uncertainty of not, I want to talk about that in our kind of our next slide too, is, the ripple effect through our economy, parents feeling uncertainty, employers feeling uncertainty, the candidates, the young graduates. I mean, it's an interesting and important trend to keep our eyes out for. Yeah, thank you. Good. Who else? The great uncertainty. We've got an election coming up. We've got AI that seems to be changing every second. Workplace shifts, all kinds of things.
Yeah,
What are you seeing? Yeah.
I read an interesting article just last week in Human Resource Executive that indicated 90% of the companies surveyed, or 90% of the companies surveyed, were anticipating or expecting layoffs in 2024. 90% is, I mean, so no surprise with the McKinseys of the world. And to me, is that going to be the reality? Maybe, maybe not. But what it, suggests is that leaders of organizations are uncertain. And so they're super cautious. And bottom line is going to be super important. And yet at the same time, I think organizations are oftentimes short-sighted on layoffs because you cut a bunch out. What's your plan to rebound? Are there any other alternatives? So I'll be curious to see where that is, but it was staggering to me to see 90% of companies were anticipating layoffs.
Yeah.
Did they define like what market, either what bond, at what point were they 50 to 100 million, was it to 14 billion? Did they identify the segment?
I'll pull the article up and then drop it in the chat, because these things have detail, but not necessarily all the detail. So, is it a sensationalist headline? Maybe. But I think it just speaks to the wariness that people have. But let me look for it and I'll put it in there.
Gloria, it's such a great topic because doesn't also uncertainty breeds more uncertainty and it becomes like a virus and the fear factor that comes in. So Terry, I think you were jumping in, and Sonia again, and Carol, the great uncertainty in 2024. I mean, this is one of the headlines I'm sure you've seen as a trend. Yeah. Thank you, Gloria. Love that.
Following up on what Gloria was saying, I was reading an article in the last few days, and what's interesting is even though a lot of the business and economic indicators are actually very positive, they kind of unpacked it, and what they said is all the uncertainty in the world, what's happening in Ukraine, what's been happening in Israel,
exactly,
just everything that's out there. And then on a personal level, we go to the grocery store and it's better than it was a year ago, but it's still a little bit of sticker shock when you look at what you have to pay for certain things. And what they said is that the uncertainty that people are feeling in the world personally is what's then translating into their uncertainty about the business environment, even though the indicators are good. We just had I think the highest sales on Black Friday weekend ever.
Right.
This weekend. So when people are spending money, they're actually individually, they're actually being fairly optimistic. But now we get into the business world and everybody's having that emotion of feeling uncertain. And so then you put a room full of people who are feeling uncertain and they start making business decisions. And that results in them saying, well, the economy is uncertain. Our business is uncertain. I will say I'm encouraging my clients to keep a little more cash reserve on hand because things are uncertain. But I'm also letting them know that this is an opportunity because if you go back to some of the ancient wisdoms, and there's opportunity in chaos. So if everybody else is hesitating, if you are or want to be a leading edge business, isn't this the time that you should be making a move? Shouldn't you be going ahead and doing these things now while your competition is sitting there freaking out?
And snapping up all those good people who are going to be without a job.
Right, right,
Really
right,
talented people. So I'm
right.
with you.
So
And that trend, by the way, Kathleen, that trend of the big consulting firms having issues has been going on, actually hit almost 10 years ago.
right, exactly.
So this is not something new. It's just right now they change so slowly, and it's now hit the point where we're seeing those big effects. But for those of us that are small and agile, I think this is a time of opportunity.
Completely agree. Love this. Yes. And so, and the whole theme for today is, looking at 5 trends. Again, welcome, Susan. So glad you're here. I've got one of the trends to talk about, to feature you as well in our discussion today. But I think it's also a matter of future proofing ourselves and our business so that we can then put the mask on first, help our clients, our associations, organizations, our communities, that we're prepared for what we're seeing, and that we can rise above all of the noise and rise above the concern and the worry, because we've got the data and we've got the guidance. And so my intention is to lead through a couple more trends that I'm seeing. And then I've got just two pages, two PowerPoint slides of just some basic things that I think that we can be and should be doing around our personal coaching and consulting businesses, especially when it comes to corporate. So there we go. Okay, good. Thank you. Great. And so the second trend, the first trend that I'm seeing, and you're hearing this. And again, I love this because they're names to them, so that if we name it, we can identify it. And of course, the opportunity for our thought leadership to write about this, to demonstrate that we have solutions. This is the whole purpose of our council, to give you ideas on how to be a leader in this, as opposed to in the laggard category. The Great Stay is another one that I'm seeing as well. And I monitor, my goodness, I monitor about 50 different news feeds. I'm a news gal. I love news. And so I'm constantly looking. I've got all kinds of notifications going so that I can keep aware of what am I seeing are the trends, and so that I can share them with you, and that we together as a pack can be leading the conversation. So in addition to the great uncertainty, I think that that's leading into the Great Stay. And that, there was a Wall Street Journal article just recently about people's reluctance to make a job change. Okay, got it. And then the whole return to the office movement, commercial office space is completely available, and that organizations, companies are requiring in many cases and bringing people back. And so the Great Stay of, combining people, having more people stay. And this new term that I'm sure you will have seen called job cuffing, like cuffing themselves to their current job, like almost like a handcuff, and staying where they're at. They may not be happy, 100% happy, but what they know is better than the unknown. So just curious, what are you seeing in this Great Stay movement, with people staying versus jumping to a new opportunity, the unknown? What are you seeing? Or return to work, and I know, Susan, that's part of your expertise, is return to office, return to work, that type of thing.
I'll say I see 2 things. One is that some of them are staying, but they are staying in an unhappy situation, and they are letting that what would I call it? That discomfort, because it isn't what they want to be. It isn't what they feel they have thought they would achieve by this point. and yet they are too afraid to make a move in a different direction. So in some ways, they are damaging their own future because they are unwilling to either look for the opportunities where they're at that would allow them to grow, or they are spending time whining about why things aren't what they hoped for, and letting that make them in judgment of themselves about things that they maybe have some successes in that they are not using to move themselves forward, even where they're at. Then on the other front, I think you've got people trying to assess, do we need a larger space, a smaller space? How do we make that space work for our team as it is right now? But I also think they're not thinking about, who is my team? What do my team know that I have never even thought to ask them that they might be able to add to contributions in the company because they have added skills or they have taken classes that align with an interest they maybe had an opportunity to explore over the last few years. And you might have them in a position based on where they were prior to all the lockdown. But now later on, they are now in a position where you could actually groom them for a position instead of having to look outside a company. And companies frequently aren't looking at those people as having those skills. They're making the assumption they don't.
So many great points. So many great points. And so my interest here too is to have us have our radar up, as we always do, is to where are the opportunities for us and how can we use the current zeitgeist, these current trends, and be able to use them for our advantage, for service, and to get the conversation going with our clients to add value, right? Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So the great stay, any other comments? Because we've got another trend, our number 3 of 4, the great stay. Carol, what I'm also noticing is this great stay may be an opportunity for people to put a little pause on maybe catapulting to a new position. And so they're kind of like using this opportunity as a way to kind of to shore up their current situation, build up their current skills, amplify their experience. And so perhaps is a really good time that they can hire you, engage with you to amp up and ramp up their LinkedIn profile. Thoughts? Is this music to your ears, Carol? I hope so.
That was occurring to me is that staying in your same company is safe, but if you could begin to demonstrate on your LinkedIn profile the breadth of your experience now, perhaps you would be more likely to be considered for promotion moves within the company. And that's a huge win, because then we're not stuck. We're just operating within the system that has treated us okay thus far.
Such great points. And for corporations to shore up their foundation so that perhaps, is a line of demarcation, the US election, perhaps they're ready to really accelerate in the end of fourth quarter of 2024. I guess it's all in the perspective, right? Yeah.
Well, the other opportunity here is that companies, instead of doing a layoff, if they're truly wanting to scale longer term, as individuals, sometimes we go shop our own pantry. We say, it's a rainy day today in Dallas. I don't want to go to the store. I shop my own pantry. Well, as companies, our clients can look at the people they've already got. And rather than doing a layoff and getting the bad PR, if they're thinking of expanding, and we're still in a market where it's hard to hire the right people. So if you've got people that get your culture, and it may be worth exploring, can you now take on that new project? Start looking at the thing that you want to do and shop your own pantry of people. And as Carol said, as individuals, if people are making sure that whether it's on LinkedIn or internally, that people are seeing their current skill sets, then there's an opportunity on both sides. And I think it could be some interesting stuff there.
Love that.
And
Nope.
I recently had someone ask for a recommendation on their LinkedIn, and her point was, I want to stay with my company, but I want them to see that it is my skills here that are recognized for being a great contribution to the company as well. And I think that there are times that people think of it as only external job searching instead of understanding the power of making yourself look like the candidate they need to keep and the
Right.
candidate that needs to be built out as somebody for others to use as an example internally. You know, I think especially women are always looking for who is that woman who I can emulate to understand how I could have a better job doing what I want to do. And when a woman can do that with hers on LinkedIn and show skills and successes there, that really starts to make them look like a candidate the company wants to hold on to.
Well, love the one you're with, right? And love who brought you to the dance, right? So I mean, ladies, I tell you, I love this conversation because I can't wait to get off, complete our call and go, I got so much to write about. I mean, and I hope that for each of you, this is stimulating some ideas for new conversations, new campaigns, new opportunities to reinvigorate many companies that are, in people, it's not the companies necessarily, it's the people in the companies, obviously, that need a boost of optimism, need solutions, and you're the perfect person to serve that to them. So good. Thank you. Okay. So keeping our party moving along here about our future trends, the other trend that I'm really seeing too is, and this is what I was interviewed in on 6 different Fox affiliates, was this term called lazy girl jobs. Who's heard of lazy girl jobs? Okay. Very interesting phenomenon. Very interesting phenomenon that this is a trend that's occurring generally with Gen Z women, younger women who are saying, I'm tired of giving my life over to the job and the work. Now, these are generally bright women who are saying, I want more of a work-life balance. And they're rebelling against the whole burnout culture of work until you can't work anymore. And this trend, please check it out. It is amazing because I appreciate Gabrielle Judge. I'm giving a shout out publicly to Gabrielle Judge on TikTok. She's had more than 18 million views on her TikTok channel because she coined the hashtag lazy girl job. And the Wall Street Journal has interviewed her. NBC has interviewed her, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because she's saying that there are a whole list of jobs that you can take as a woman, and this is particularly for women. She's customized her message that are generally customer service jobs where you don't have to be in front of the camera, jobs where maybe you have to be in the office 1 day a week. I mean, this is a rebellion to be in the office 5 days a week, work until you drop. And she's saying that, hey, leisure time is just as important as work. Well, this trend, and again, with 18 million views on TikTok, there's a trend here. And for me to have 6 different interviews on Fox talking about this trend, I had my point of view, which is the term lazy girl is not great because generally these women are not lazy. They more want freedom. They want autonomy. They want choice. These are the trends that I think we can follow. And so the impact of this trend is really important because think about the impact on our corporate pipelines for women through the corporate ladder into the C-suite. This could impact every aspect of corporations if women are, from a young age, consciously opting out. So I just want to pause here for a moment. Your point of view on lazy girl jobs, one of the trends that we're seeing.
Yeah, I'm with you, Kathleen. I think the term is unfortunate because people can read too much into it. But when you look at the generational gap, I mean, younger generations want flexibility. And the corporate construct is just like so mired in. We work 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. We work in the office. We have full-time jobs. We don't have part-time jobs. We don't have gig workers. And there is a tremendous amount of missed opportunity for companies to getting great talent. And that even goes not just on the young end, but I read a statistic that showed the people over the age of 75 working is up now compared to a few years ago. And, you know, people want to stay engaged. And if you've got project work or part-time work, flexible work, you'll have your pick of so much great talent out there. To me, it's just, you know, it's a no-brainer. And what we've got to do is get the people leading, the more senior folks in organizations, to be unstuck from their, I need everybody here, I need them here on these schedules, because if I can't see them, I don't know what they're doing, kind of thing. We got to continue to work on shifting mindsets. And I know that's something that's been a big focus for us, and all the data is there that tells you should be looking at this because it's tremendous opportunity.
Brilliant points, Gloria. Brilliant.
Susan, lack of trust is a huge part of it for
sure.
leadership.
Yeah. Yes.
Don't hire
On
them.
both sides. On both
Right.
sides.
Yes.
This is a perspective I'll just give. I coached several executives, women, last year who were in the biopharma industry, who had worked, whose companies had been acquired over the years by 2 or 3 different firms. And they were now with a firm whose culture was extremely restricted. So they definitely wanted out of there. And they wanted to go someplace where there would be more work-life balance. And one of the things that was interesting in evaluating what companies they'd go to was, I said, you know, at the same time that you want work-life balance, they also need to be profitable or they're not going to be in business for a long period of time. So you should choose places where there can be a win-win, a conversation of how it is that everybody's needs get met. And as a result of that, they were able to find a couple of places. But I think we're too, when I see the lazy girl jobs, obviously I agree with everybody else. The term is terrible. It should be more like sovereign girl jobs. But the thing that I think about is that we all need to understand that everybody has set goals. And it's like, how do we create win-win-win? We have to focus on that.
And it shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very great. Yes. Good. Thank you. Carol, you're going to jump in as well. And we've got 2 more trends and then we'll complete our time. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll try to be brief. About 20 years ago, after I lost my job, I did a bunch of blog posts for an organization that recruited part-time gig workers in a certain industry. And we were always hammering on that notion of hire the people that are post-retirement age, because they, you know, if you're just doing short term and you can be flexible, that's what senior people have always wanted. So this is like the opportunity for seniors to get what they want, because I think corporations are experiencing that real dearth of qualified people, and all of a sudden we have to be more creative in how we put our workforce together.
The only issue I see is frequently when we're older than the people who are hiring us, their concern is frequently, oh crap, is this going to make me look stupid because this person knows more than me? So that's that other side of a lack of trusting that you're working with somebody because you want to have people who are more brilliant than you doing what you need them to do, and that you're bringing them on shows your own brilliance for putting together a fabulous team. instead of looking at it as like, oh crap, this might make me look like I'm not as cool because they know more than I do. And that shows their lack of belief in themselves. And it's sad to see that sometimes those are the people who are doing the hiring.
Hence opportunity for us, right? To bring in great team building and leadership, right? Okay, good. Yes.
Well, and I have found over time that being explicit, and I think this probably works as an employee as well, but I know going as a consultant, sometimes I am very explicit to the business owner that my job is to the outside world is to make them shine. That now we may have some conversations that are very direct one-on-one and behind closed doors, but my job is at the end of the day, I look good if they look good. And so just that switch in positioning, I don't want to be CEO of their company. My goal is to do my job and come in and help them shine, and that's going to help me get my next group of clients. So just a different perspective on it.
Excellent, Terry. Great. Setting the context and expectations, right? Yes. Great. So I would like to present just two more quickly and then kind of do a wrap up here because, these are trends that, again, to future proof our businesses and, to expand our thought leadership. Of course, I'm going to combine these two together, but the other trend that I'm really seeing in the workplace, in corporate, in organizations is, of course, continuing with the belonging. And diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, this whole trend, there's no denying that budgets are being allocated for this. And so, there's controversy in it. I don't want to, jump into that, but of course, it's really to me more of the belonging aspect of it. And as many of you said, if we look at the demographic trends, we've got an aging workforce, the rise of the millennial generation and their needs and wants and expectations. And then, of course, number 3, a more culturally diverse population. So we've got the belonging trend as number 4, and then number 5 to complete our short time together. And again, we could go through, my goodness, hours and hours of this, but I wanted to give each of you and get the conversation going about the 5 top trends that I'm seeing. And so the other major trend that I'm really seeing is about the whole employee and everything from compensation to work-life balance, rewards, whole person rewards, just everything that's happening. And MetLife's just did a research project that I think you'll enjoy reading, which is all about the expansion of benefits. The total rewards concept is hot. So the implication for us as coaches and consultants is I think that we could expand our offer into more soft skills, so to speak, more interpersonal coaching and consulting, more team, more leadership, more things, as opposed to hardline, typical, leadership and job related. We can expand into more of the whole employee. And employers are knowing that they've got to be able to support the whole employee. So this is the other trend that I'm really seeing is, again, belonging, the whole employee, the great uncertainty, lazy girl jobs, and of course, the great stay. Okay. So with a focus on this, I just wanted to present a couple ideas on two different slides, and then do a wrap up here is, knowing that these are some trends that are out there. And of course, there are so many more, but focusing in on client experiences and retaining our current clients. We all know the statistics about it's harder and more expensive to get a new client than it is to retain our current clients. And I think that there's more behind the curtain when it comes to current clients with different subsidiaries and supply chain partners and different groups. I think that we could really enjoy even more opportunity with our current clients. So that, to me, future-proofing our businesses, number one, focusing on their experiences and retention. I also believe in survey, taking the pulse of what are they experiencing. Sonia, you brought this up earlier, is what are the issues that our clients are dealing with at their different market sectors and their different growth journeys. Where are they at in their goals? So really focusing in on what's in it for them, and diversifying our offers and also our clients. I shared several times, but back in 2007, my business was solely focused on financial services. And I had a very, very robust team building and leadership program that I was serving to financial institutions in my geography and my territory in the Midwest. Well, I was so busy in the business, doing the business, revenue coming in, loving my clients, loving every second of it, that I didn't future-proof my business to see that when the recession hit, financial services cuts in training and development were the first things to go. And so literally, I could see that in August of 2007, business is great, revenue's coming in. Then I didn't see the leading nor the lagging indicators of this. And then in September, a reduction in business. Then in October, cancellations and moving contracts into the next year. And then fewer and fewer people engaged in November. So I don't want any of us to go through that. And so we can future-proof our businesses and be able to look to see what are the trends, what are the indicators we need to see now to impact next year. And of course, incorporating new tech and AI, huge, reducing costs, maximizing our value. And then finally, I personally think the power of affiliations, the power of being connected to other powerful women that are focused in on moving in the same direction. Our C-Suite Network Women's Coaching and Consulting Council and our Women's Corporate Coaching and Consulting Roundtable, we're talking about really important things. I'm not hearing these kinds of topics anywhere out there in the world, except for in C-Suite Network and specifically within our council. So, and then finally, future-proofing to me means collaboration, alliances, stepping up our thought leadership now and into the next year, and always growing and upskilling ourselves. So as we complete our time, what's your biggest takeaway? And then we'll talk about some upcoming events that we know you want to know about. What's your biggest takeaway from our time together? I want to get your voices in here.
I am specifically sorry.
That's good.
You raised your hand and I just started talking, Terry.
No, I was saying I couldn't hear Gloria. She was muted.
And she was talking. Well,
You're on.
Just
Okay,
jump
I was
in, girls. We're so polite, aren't we? We are so polite. Just jump
We're
in.
not.
Yep. Your biggest takeaway. Yeah.
Okay, so I was excited just to hear trends. I mean, that is such a grounded way to think about what should we write, what should we teach, what should we do, and I appreciate that.
And for me,
Carol.
it is building on those trends and getting the insights from the rest of this group here, because there are always great nuggets from great minds. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. And we do it in such a very nice way, don't we? We do it in a very nice sisterly kind of way. Yeah. We want each other to win. This is not a competitive place. We are supporting each other to win. So thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Who else? Biggest takeaway?
Well, in times of great uncertainty, you need a community. And so talking about the affiliations and the collaboration, I think is important. The way that you listed the trends made it easy for me to think about, well, how would I position my business addressing that trend? Or is that a trend I should be addressing?
Yep.
Thank you, Sonia. Yes, you are so right. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Anyone else? Biggest takeaway?
You always create a great focus, and that's a delight, Kathleen, because I can have gone, oh yes, I started looking at that. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, that one too. And I think those squirrel moments as we're busy doing things for certain specific clients and looking at opportunities for others, these are great moments to kind of pull our focus back in line and say yes, and pull the community around us to move us forward. So thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Yes. Yeah, great. You know, we are such a unique community, and we want to grow into next year and keep growing. And the more that we have in the way of collaboration and ideas and good vibes, it's good for all of us. Yeah, thank you. Great. Anyone else before we complete our time?
Just, the insights from everybody else, really helpful. And as people were talking, I'm hearing opportunities for collaboration, which that always energizes me. And I'm really looking forward to what you were talking about in January. I'm hoping you'll be sending something out so we can be thinking about what we might be writing, because we have such a nice collection of skill sets in this group. So really looking forward to that.
Thank you, Terry. Yes, yes. And also taking into consideration perhaps a little bit less, modifying 2024's agenda, maybe a little bit less content and maybe more in depth, so that in the new year, we're going to have member only times where we're really digging in behind closed doors to talk about the execution and implementation of our ideas. So more goodness to come. So thank you. So as we complete, all goodness. I think the secret to all of this is being powerful together. And you know that I believe that, and supporting each other in what we're up to. And speaking of goodness and speaking of supporting each other, we are so excited that on December 7th, we get to welcome to our global stage Sonia Jante. Sonia is going to be talking about the very, very important topic about taking the right risks and making the right choices in the midst of tremendous uncertainty and tumultuous world circumstances. So what a great topic, Sonia, to really talk about the tactical part of this. And we're very excited. So for each of you, would love some additional amplification of Sonia's invite on LinkedIn and Facebook. And C-Suite Network, thank you to you for amplifying this as well. Can't wait, Sonia, to feature you and to hear your great wisdom. Yes. And of course, every Saturday morning, we have our Saturday morning Women's Success Circle. Gorgeous call. This is a call every week. It's 27 minutes in length. We have one topic and we go deep. Sometimes we go heavy, deep, and real, and we don't record the calls. The calls are gorgeous, very heartfelt. Everyone leaves the call inspired, motivated, and in action. It's a really powerful call. So think about this strategy for your business too. How can you gather people in community and continue to up-level the value? So with that, thank you for attending and being so involved. My heart is so happy. And our council, we are all about promoting, showcasing, and highlighting you, giving you a platform to rise and shine. So with that, questions, feel free to jump on Calendly, book a call with me, and we can talk more about what's next for you. Okay. And then finally, we've got our YouTube channel. We're now up to, I think, about 140 different videos, so much content. And we're so proud of the work that we're doing. So we get to showcase you on our YouTube channel. And then as we complete, highly recommend all of us, let's just take one small action from our time together. And, feel free, tag our council, tag each other, and we will promote you, showcase you, and highlight you. So with that, thank you. Loved every second, future-proofing our businesses and our success. So bye for now. Thank you. Take care. We'll see you very soon. Okay. Thank you.
You.
Bye. Lots of love. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thanks. Bye-bye.